Hi everybody, Flash Trasman back again with another episode of Suzerain, and we're on Chapter 5, Checkmate. Right, where did we get to? I can't remember. Oh yes, the state visit of President Walker. He's going to probably want us to join ATO, and I think we need to try and avoid doing that. Okay, so ATO came out of the car, smiling, waving, an enormous crowd had gathered. It was not every day that a Ocasian president came to visit Sordland after all. Next to the moon carpet to the palace, Swordish troops lined up, Swordish warplanes flew above our heads, painted in the sky with the colours of the Swordish flag. As soon as President Walker stepped out on the carpet, all the soldiers performed a hard salute. Celebratory gunshots were fired, trumpets started playing a Swordish march. Along with Monica, I walked over to meet him midway. Finally, I was reaching distance to one of the most powerful men in the world. He looked at Monica first, bowed and kissed her hand with her for a second longer than I liked. Mr. Rayne, I told you I would get to meet... Let's start that again. Dwight Walker said to me, Mr. Rayne, if you told me I would get to meet your lovely wife, I would have come sooner. I'm charmed, Miss Rayne. Oh, thank you, Mr. Walker. It's a pleasure to meet you. It is a pleasure to meet you. No, the pleasure is all mine, Miss Rayne. I hope your wife and family is well. They are very well, Miss Rayne, thank you. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it here today. And who do we have here, Mr. President? It's so good to finally meet with you. We shook hands. Welcome to Sordland. On the way to the entrance, we stopped in front of General Vulcan, who was in charge of the troops. General. He saluted Vulcan and the soldiers. They saluted back. As soon as our inspection finished, we entered the palace. Mr. President, what do you think? One would think you are prepared to go toward me instead. He laughed. I laughed as well. We started walking towards the reception hall in the palace. Our path was cleared of people at once. He was simply looking at the extraordinary interior design of the Moon Palace. Statues, paintings, various ornaments filled both sides of the corridor. We passed the corridor and entered the reception hall. The crowd inside was composed of various politicians and state figures. Upon our entry, they started clapping. Dry martinis were handed out to both of us. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Walker, President Walker. People started clapping. Thank you, President Rayne. It is good to be here, and thank you everyone for your warm welcome. With another thunderous round of applause, the jazz band started playing. President Walker and I separated and started mingling with the crowd. The reception was in full swing. After some time chatting with attendees, President Walker approached us and bowed to my wife. Miss Rayne, can I call you Monica? She looked over to me before smiling at him. Yes, of course, if I can call you Dwight. He took her hand and started dancing. I turned around to talk to the waiter. It's my third martini. Then I heard a whistle. I turned and saw Monica dancing very close to President Walker. All eyes in the room were on them. President Walker grabbed Monica's waist. President Walker, why don't we have a chat somewhere quiet? Finish your martini. I watched from the sidelines and finished my martini while faking claps and smiles. Swirling guy Monica looked like she was having fun. They finished with their dance routine after a few minutes and came over to the bar while I was leaning on. Monica, you are full of surprises. Thank you, Mr. Walker. And Mr. Rayne, you are one lucky guy. Yep, I know, and I cherish every moment. Monica looked at me and smiled. Ah, you lovebirds. President and I swapped our drinks for Earl and Martini. Maroon, 30 years old. I knew a special spark with our drinks at hand. We went downstairs to the basement. I want to check something before we go any further. What am I looking for? Political overview. Nope, it's country overview. Let's look at the military. Lack of reservists, military interference in politics, experience with countless years of experience in the military. Okay, I'm thinking that they warned us they don't want us. This guy's going to want us to join ATO, and our military don't want to do it, so I'm tempted not to do it. Gradually, the sound of the music started to fade away. We had a cosy little corner office with not much inside other than a table and comfortable chairs. He took a seat in a lifeboat suit. He pulled out 2 cigars. Take one of the cigars. He pulled out a Rippo lighter and I lit my cigar, and we kept before lighting his own. I heard you got into a scandal. Yes, the truly unfortunate chain of events. And, yeah, let's not talk about scandal. We have much more important matters to discuss. He grinned. Relax. It's just a scandal. I'm no reporter. I just made it out alive of a bad one myself. If it was a rough one too. You get used to a couple of people in prison, a couple of people silenced. You know the drill. Oh, blimey. Cheers to your survival then, Mr. Rayne. Cleek's talking about Peter and the Rumbergian spy. We clinked our glasses and took a sip. This is a really good one, very smoky, I like it. I'm glad you like it. He took a puff of his cigar, filling the small room with smoke. Definitely better than Vagslandian whiskey. But I like Lesbian whiskey more. It pairs better with their cigars. You, Mr. Rayne, whiskies are a little bit like countries. Some are stronger, some are weaker, some are older, some are younger. Many are complex, but sometimes simple is the best. I personally like strong whiskies in general. That's why I like this one. Yes, it's definitely promising. That's just the whole kind of. That's how he sees. I can't think what to describe, but basically he's comparing straw whiskey. Basically, whatever you drink, in the end, it boils down to your own taste. I assure you, Mr. Rayne, my sense of taste is very refined. What type of whiskey do you like? I'm good with whatever is made here in Sordland. I like complex flavours, I like stronger ones. I like strong ones, yeah. A master of my own heart. He tugged at his tie to loosen it a bit. You know why I'm here. I want to make you an offer. I'm listening. Good. Listen closely. Times are changing, so is the balance of the world. Soon, instead of a fractured world, you see a more united world. There is us, Ato against them. I want you to be by our side, the winning side. If you accept, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Ato as a full member state. This, of course, comes along with lots of privileges and responsibilities. In Ato, we protect each other. We have a mutual defence clause in case of war. Join us, Mr. Rayne, and you will have the entire backing of Ato soldiers, jets, warships, whatever you like. During peacetime, you'll see the effects even more. Our combined production output will benefit both Sordland and NATO. We will have free trade zone agreements, free visa access, investments, you name it. All I ask in return is mutual loyalty to one another in the pact. The Swordlish Armed Forces will be a member of the NATO military structure. All branches, be it air, navy, army, will collaborate with the alliance network. We provide assistance and training for free. Our armies will learn how to fight together and be stronger than ever in the face of the millennialist threat. Next makes two here tonight. What do you say? I don't know. I'm not sure what to do here. I'm just not sure I'm not sure our military want to join NATO. Let's go back to that a second. Let's look at this a minute. Adequately equipped. I don't know what to go with this one. Happy military personnel. Oh, I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. I'm tempted to say no, but I don't know what to do. We don't want to annoy our military, because as it says there, they like to interfere in politics. Yeah, let's just say no for the time being. At least I know that I tried. Don't close yourself to the opportunity. Maybe you are not ready now, but you might be ready in the future. I usually get what I want, Mr. Rayne, and trust me, you won't get rid of me that easily. He smiled and we shook hands. Regardless, it's good to meet with you, and I hope this is the start of something good. He grabbed his glass and downed the remaining whiskey. Now it starts to taste better. Let's go downstairs, Mr. Rayne, and join the party. Let's go upstairs, Mr. Rayne, and join the party, Mr. Rayne. Okay. Have a few more dance moves to show off. Okay. Right, okay, so let's see what happens there then. We've just turned down. Call with Evelyn Vecton. Okay. Midnight was at midnight, and I was in the living room watching the tail end of a news report when I heard the phone ring. I sat and walked over to the phone, wondering who could be calling this late. I picked it up. Hello, who is this? I heard a soft voice with the end. Evelyn Vecton. Hello, Anton. This is Evelyn. Sorry for calling so late. Is there something wrong? Yes, no, I don't know actually. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? Let's go with that one. Let's keep it nice and polite. Alright, let's talk. The thing is, I'm supposed to meet with Peter today to hand him the signed divorce papers, but he didn't come to our designated meeting point. I figured he might have been too drunk to remember, so I went to his apartment he's been renting. He wasn't there either. I walked around the landlord, and I asked around the landlord, the neighbours, his friends. Nobody knows where he is. Trust me, Anton, I couldn't be more excited to be rid of this man, but I can't close off this chapter of my life without his cooperation. I'm sure he'll turn up. I don't know, Anton, he's in a bad shape after your press conference. Oh dear me. Can't you get your police contacts to look into this just to be on the safe side? You're being paranoid. Just wait for my data turns up. No, let's do it. Alright, I'll give you, if it'll give you your peace of mind, I will. Thanks, Anton, that'd be great. I knew, by the way, about all his affairs. I'm so sorry I never came out about it. Yeah. Boys will be boys, isn't that what you say? They say. Her voice sounded tired. Get some sleep, Evelyn. Goodbye. The line dropped. As I put down the phone, Monica sleepily approached with a glass of water in her hand. Who was that? Is everything alright? As Evelyn said, Peter's missing, driving his sorrows, I wager. I'd be surprised if she still cares about him. She's a middle-aged woman. What kind of life will she have without her husband? She was a good influence on him. Yeah, for a while. She made her way upstairs. Call Carl to ask him about Peter. Hang on for a few seconds. Yes, Mr. President. Sorry for calling this late. Not a problem, sir. I only sleep for 3 15-minute intervals per night. Hey? 3 15-minute intervals? I only sleep for 3 15-minute intervals per night. So basically he says he has 45 minutes sleep a night. Okay then. I'm not sure I believe that. What can I do? I need to find somebody. As you wish. I've heard faint rustling of a notepad being opened. Who do you want found, sir? Peter Vecton. As you command, I will report my findings shortly. Thank you for your help as always. Have a good night. Young guy put the phone. I put away the phone, went down to the bedroom to get some sleep. As I was eating breakfast this morning, the phone rang. I picked up. It was Carl. Good morning, Mr. President. Morning, Carl. I have some unfortunate news regarding Mr. Vecton. His wedding ring, half-empty bottle of pills, and a handwritten note were found on a bridge overlooking the Ungor River. We surmise that he took his own life. Oh no, I was afraid of that. Sorry for loss, sir. We'd like to break the news to Mr. Vecton, or should I? I'll do it. Of course, sir. Carl hung up. With a heavy heart, I started thinking about what I would say to Evelyn. Oh dear, that's not her. Right, so Peter's dead, we think. Former Vice President suicide confirmed. Rumours of 4 months ago, Mr. Sadly, proof of Peter Vecton's suicide has been confirmed. Handwritten note found on the bridge overlooking not been. Lydia seems has not been since this scandal broke. The rumours are she escaped back to Vumberg. I bet. I thought we'd locked her up. She's been held in Antel-Lock prison. I thought we'd locked her up. I bet he's faked his death and he's run off with her. I bet he'll pop up in Rumberg soon. Peter Vector commits suicide. He said he's got a scandal. Family sold him a private funeral also, but if I don't find his body, it'd be weird anyway. Oh well. Without a body, I wouldn't believe it personally. Peter Vector's funeral. As notified as that Peter Vector's nothing to do. He was last seen travelling to Earloy. Yeah, I'm not sure I believe he's dead. The ex-Vice President Peter Vector unfortunately passed away. Preparation has been made for his body is... Oh, well, they have found him then. Okay, I was wrong. Funeral. God, which one do we go? Let's go state funeral. Because all his sins, he was... as the convoy pulled up to the gates of the National Cemetery in Roy Peter's hometown, Monica and Diana beside me in the car. News of Peter's death had hit Frank's heart especially hard. Rather than attend the funeral, he had taken a few days off from school to have time to himself. Monica looked numb and empty, and Diana appeared in deep thought. How did Uncle Peter die? Why won't anybody tell me? Monica looked like she was about to cry. He... Doesn't matter, sweetheart. She turned her head to look out the window, holding her tears. Hug me, Monica. He hugged me tightly back. Papa, tell me the truth. You'll understand when you're older. It's not fine. Mum was 12. The driver's window rolled down. We've arrived, Mr. President. Mark, deepest consultancies, I know you and Peter, Mr. Vector, were very close. You're right, we were. Thank you, sir. Let's be last to Serge. She went outside, opened the door, and as we stepped out, camera flashes went off. Evelyn Vector was waiting for us upon seeing Monica, ran up to her and they hugged. Evelyn, I'm so sorry. How are you holding up? So it's hard to play the bereaved widow knowing the kind of man he really was. But still, we were married for 20 years, Monica. And the way he died, it was just too sudden. The hug once again, Evelyn wiped away tears and patted down on the head before turning to me. I know there's nothing either of you could have done, but I still couldn't help feeling hopefully responsible for this. But you're not responsible for it. It's not your fault. Then we swallowed hard, her eyes filled with resolve. Alright, let's go. The four of us, Evelyn, Monica, Diana and I, took our places towards the front of the crowd. From afar we heard the sound of military boots approaching. A soldier was leading a group with a large framed photo of Peter in his hands. Behind other soldiers marched alongside a cart with a carved goat on the front. Top of that cart, wrapped in a Swedish flag, was the coffin of Peter Vector, the fourth Vice President of Sordland. The group stepped in front of us, lifted the coffin off the cart and laid it down on the platform. One of the soldiers took the flag, folded up and presented it to me. I walked behind the podium to deliver my speech. Today we mourn Peter Vector, the fourth Vice President of Sordland, and a true soldier strive to achieve the best of the country against all odds. A very successful statesman who I worked very close for many years. Let's say that one. God's word says no man can be perfect. And Peter was no exception. We drank together, we cried together, we laughed together, fought together. Yep, he was there with me from the very beginning. Despite his unconscionable actions towards it at the end of his life, I chose to remember who he was. Though we did not always see eye to eye, I owe Peter everything. I wouldn't be present if not for him. Although we didn't always see eye to eye, I owe Peter everything. The past is the past. The past is the past. We must always look to the future. That's what he would have wanted. The path he paved will go down in history. We always look to the future. That's what he would have wanted. Farewell, brother, you will be missed. Mid applause, I look back to Monica and Diana. As I walk past Evelyn, she mouths words, thank you. Trumpets cut through the silence. Stern-looking soldiers formed a line and held their rifles in front. One after another, 10 shots rang out. With each shot I shuddered. I know Peter for almost 30 years. The time we spent together flashed back before my eyes, the good memories, the bad ones, all of it. It didn't matter anymore, he was gone. I felt a tug on my left arm. Diana, are you crying? Surprised, I checked my face. My eyes were wet. Yes. She hugged my leg. Come on, Diana, let's go. The coffin was lowered on the tombstone place. The crowd began dispersing. Leave a bottle of whiskey on the grave. I stayed there by myself for another half hour. The sun finally set after painting the sky blood red. Oh, that's maybe sad, that has. He was a liability. Well, it still made me sad. Right, now what? Let's have a bit scan around and make sure there's nothing else we need to attend to first. Let's look at the news articles. First Peter's family first sadly following this affair, Vexin taking his own life. It was very tragic to see them divided during their service as the country's most important man. Wumberg informed her daughter to be awarded with a state funeral. Okay. It had been a while since Peter disappeared from my life. I find myself thinking of the jokes he'd found funny and wanting to tell him what had happened at my last meeting, but the grief was beginning to fade. Monica visited Evelyn often after that. At first, helping her process of mixed emotions, eventually Evelyn sold Peter's villa in Erlora and used the proceeds to travel the world, something she'd always wanted to do when she and Peter were together. For myself and Monica, their life in the capital had to go on, and it did. After weeks of late nights, Monica, Cara and the Women's Rights Commission succeeded in getting their bill through the Assembly. Ooh. It was as comprehensive as you could hope for. I was looking forward to celebrating with my wife, but it had been hours since she had gotten home and she still wasn't there. I was dazed on the couch after another frozen TV dinner when I heard the key turn lock. Monica stumbled into the hall. Honey, I'm home. Kiss her. I kissed her breast smelled like gin. I've just had a few drinks with Kyra. I can't believe we did it on such amazing news. She hiccuped. You could have invited me to celebrations. Oh, you wouldn't have thought you'd find it boring, and somebody had to look after Deanna. My God, I'm starting to see what I put you through all those years. Get used to it, baby. Serious, Anton, this is what I want to do. I've never felt so alive. Show her the framed photo you took from the old office. Well, look at us. We were so young. Yeah, that's nothing to say to her. The word is 11 upstairs to the bedroom. Okay. We all know where that's going to go. What's that? Fetty Dejal. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure about that. We'll find that in a minute, I reckon. Ooh. Keeping unbanning. President just made a risk making invoking the ban. I can't remember doing that. Okay. Biggest ever military paid. Just display the strength of versus the world's glory state. Tanks will roll, jets will fly, soldiers will march. Okay. Rayne unbans controversial Bloodish Party. Voted exile into law by President Rayne after approval of the Grand National Assembly by vote by a majority vote on Wednesday follows a 3-hour debate, while the name suggests different with the name purposes to. Okay. Okay, they don't like it. Oof. The leader of the Workers' Party Bloody is rumoured to be poisoned by a nerve agent on his way to Dartisana. Come after Elijah was promised to clean soldier politics from Solism. That's not great. That's not great. Radical. Oh, that's what it is then. Oh, okay, so they tried to kill him basically. Okay, record numbers. Soldier shoots down Warburg warplane in retaliation. Down for potential Sordland, the tensions increased dramatically in 2 countries. Yes, the soldier warplane was shot. Yes, the soldier plane has been shot down by Warburg anti-air. Soldier plane was by sending their warplanes into Warburg airspace, destroying Warburgian jet. Okay, that's barreling into war. I've got lots of things to look at. Let's go up here. What's our case here? Assigned a sending statement that Agnolia will stand against Vagnalian harassment together with Sordland. Oh, blimey. So they basically, what worries me is they're going to drag us into war with them. Then at the same time, they're going to attack us because we're going to be tied up fighting them. Yeah, it's going to get very messy. Yep, but that was shot down by anti-aircraft violating Sorted airspace. Okay, fine. No problem with that. Lucien Gallard organised an interview for the presidency on the internationally renowned one-on-one. The famous journalist Tumis Seko will ask the questions. Okay, so that's coming up. Right. What else have we got to deal with? Find the keyboard. According to intelligence, the Vagnalian Navy gathered in full force on Helgen blockading the island. Reports about violent conflict with Agnolian and Vagnalian forces. Great. That's what's going to bring us down, this blinking war with Vagsland. Okay, election speech at USPHQ. Okay. The sun was starting to peek through the blinds of my suite to the Grand Charity Hotel in Enrique. I hadn't slept at all that night. I was too busy thinking about how I would rally my party's Conservative base at today's election kick-off. I was just pulling on my clothes when two sharp knocks. Let me start reading that again. I was just pulling on my clothes when 2 soft, sharp knocks came at the door. Lucien. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Lucien unclapped his briefcase, took out a small disc device. After scanning the room with it, he gave a satisfying nod. I've just received the final results of your investigation into the Old Guard. Oh, don't leave me in suspense. Lucien pulled out a folder and opened it. Miss Morgana's task force suspected Old Guard members of multiple cases of corruption and lobbying, but when you look deeper into that, they found something truly shocking. The Old Guard, with the tacit approval of Tarquin Sol, directly arranged assassination of Bernard Circus. I'm not surprised at that. Why is that a surprise? I always thought they were involved. Cece took off as their goal was to protect Sol and his constitution. They needed an event extreme enough to distract you from making reforms. Of course, when that didn't work, they found they had other ways of impeding you. Who was involved in this? The main conspirator was Lilias Graf. I've always known she was a bad one, from game 1 as well. And then there are dozens of assembly members and thousands of government officials who may have been aware of the assassination plot and helped cover it up. We will get rid of every single one of them involved in this plot. Lilias Graf will be our main target. Establish less politics once for all. Problem is, if they're just replaced with somebody else. Got that one. That could end up being the largest government purchase sold in history. Are you sure? Yes, the Old Guard has been the tainter on my government far too long. I mean, let's get rid of the main conspirator we can talk to. We need to shake up the entire government so close to an election. Yeah. Alright, so I'll get to work on it when we return to Wholesword. Now that's settled, I'll let you prepare for your rally. I almost forgot, the Archpriest of Dare couldn't be present today. He wanted to release massive support to you and your family. That's nice of him. What did he say? I bless the rains down in Enrique. I don't like the sound of that. Lucy left the room. I put on my time, reread my notes for the morning speech. A few years later, I was waiting in the wings of the North Auditorium in Enrique. The audience had several thousand of my Conservative supporters. Behind the podium hung a Swedish flag and the giant banner that read, Victory is close. Peace, prosperity in the Swordish way. Your land, my land, Sordland. Yeah, let's go with that one, nice and Rika Mayor Curtin Les gave a short introductory speech. I couldn't look at him without thinking how I'd let Monica down. I stepped down this podium and took a deep breath. Let's go with that one. Brothers and sisters of USP. The past 3.5 years, I've seen our country tested again and again. Many enemies tried to destroy me and this fine country. Yeah, let's go with that one. I stand before you now, ready to pledge myself to God and Sordland yet again. Sordland has prevailed under my administration. We are stronger than ever. Yet the Rayne administration stands strong, ready to... Yeah, let's go with that one. With my election, I will finish pulling Sordland's economy from the depths of recession. Let's go with that one. Under my presidency, we have enjoyed unprecedented harmony. Let's go with that one. I will continue for Sordland against threat, whether internal or external. Let's go with that one. And I'll continue to root out corruption and wrongdoing evil in this very government. Yes, go with that one. Thunderous applause erupted. Thunder has changed, but the USP remains strong as ever. Some accuse me of straying from the values of USP. To them, I am the USB. Now, let's not say that. Let's go with that one. There's been tremendous progress made in this term and more to come. I have devoted an unprecedented amount of effort towards making Sordland's economy the best in the world we will not lose. Yep. I am Vice President Cleveland shall lead Sordland to a bright new era. A roar shook the hall. We will form a broad coalition of supporters to make sure morning finally comes. It's time, my fellow sword. A new dawn is upon us and it begins right here, right now. Remember, vote Rayne 57. It's time to get back on board. It's time to get back on board the Rayne train. That's boring. Let's go the Rayne train. Let's go with that cheesy ward and streamer shot out from cameras behind me. My election campaign had officially begun. I stepped down from the podium. Okay. Oh, look. The budget's got a bit better. Let's have a Coke on Lydia's graph. Oh, she's empty. I think we've dispatched of her. Let's go and have a... Okay, we've arrested her. That's interesting. Let's read this then. Let's go to you. The present wild conspiracy theory is validated. The President has gone off else this time insisting that Colonel Sol fostered a deep state conspiracy. Unfortunately, just when it's in fully in league with the Rayne scheme, it seems the book might be suspicious importance. Not all of these figures behind bars. Okay. They don't like me. Oh God, conspirators found guilty. Holding true to his promise to root out corruption in the Swordish government, President Rayne has secured a guilty verdict for those members of the political old guard who plotted to assassinate Blood MP Bernard Circus. They were tried at a just Ministry of Justice, where anti-corruption police headed by Neil Morgan reviewed the results of a task force investigation of the old guard and declared them guilty of treason. We at Sordland today rejoice to see these traitors booted out of our government and hope they enjoy their nice long stay in Antilvoc prison. The assassin of Bernard Circus has been revealed as to be a result of plot between the young swords and certain individuals in the so-called Old Guard, and alongside government officials in league with the policies of Colonel Torpor Games. Okay, radical, deep state corruption. Yeah. Those are press bloodish protesters. Right, okay, so make sure there's nothing to read here. Okay. We might still actually have a chance of getting through this. I arrived at the Ministry of Economy and proceeded upstairs. An assistant waited by the door to the meeting room, took my jacket. I opened the door and entered the largest boardroom in the building. Simon was sitting alone with a glass of water and his documents laid out before him. He stood up when I entered and approached me with a categoric handshake. I took a seat. Excuse me. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Good afternoon. I'm not going to say the door open and Alban entered the room. So I got held up. Did you start yet? No, miss. Nope, not yet. Now we're here, let's begin. As you all know, we're here to review the economic progress we've made over the past term, decide how to proceed. I'll brief quickly on what we've done so far, just as a refresher. Let's hear it. He gathered documents from the pile in front of him and adjusted his glasses. From the pile he produced 2 booklets and them to us. Our extra focus on the economy resulted in small-scale positive growth. The extra resources have been a boon to my ministry. It would be great if we followed up on this during our next term and take a deep dive into details now. Please turn to page 5. We turn to page 5. Let's start off with our economic plan. I'm glad to say that we are on track with our initial plan for our market economy. Most of our decisions so far have been pretty consistent. Thank you for your efforts. We need to keep at it, make sure we follow through. Yep. We still have a lot to do. That's what I'm here for. Let's move on to the report. If I describe what we have done so far, I would say that it is very close to laissez-faire economic, that word there, laissez-faire economic system. Yeah. Apologies for butchering that pronunciation, but you know that'd be complicated when turn to page 16. I turn to page 16, titled Status of Trade and the Effects of the Foreign Policy. I'm happy to say that our trade has increased since the beginning of our term. We're on the right path. More trade means a more vibrant economy, which means unbridled economic development. Turn to page 17. In our attempt to repair Sordland's economic system, we have generally sided with business. Even though the country benefited financially, people certainly weren't fond of it. Thankfully, living standards are steadily increasing. We're receiving fewer and fewer complaints about our welfare systems. That's true both for the people of Sordland for our re-election prospects. Exactly. Some other industries have also been knocked down to their knees by our recent taxations. The demand for these goods has decreased drastically, which led business in these industries to shut down. Okay, that's not so good. Some people are calling the government out for infringing on their personal liberty. Apparently, even some filed lawsuits saying taxes violate their human dignity, and some argue that they need it for their mental health treatment. Okay, page 34. Our production rate has gone down since the beginning of the term. We're at a very low point right now. We need to fix this as soon as possible. Of course, I note that down. Moving on to logistics. We have an infrastructure problem and our economy won't truly flourish until we solve it. Unless we solve it, we need to make new roads and improve existing ones. People and business alike have been complaining. Smoother commutes, easier access and faster delivery times will help everyone out. We are very close to the end. I want to talk about a few numbers. Please turn to page 57. I've prepared a chart. Oh, I like charts. My job's charts. My day job anyway. Maybe I'm a SQL developer, my day job, so I do lots of playing with numbers and producing pretty graphics through visualization software after I've done SQL. But anyway, I digress. Our inflation rate is currently at a staggering 25%, up 7%, the highest in Sordland's history. That can't be helping. Sordland has been wildly fluctuating as a result, and consumer prices have gone up, which means Sordland citizens are angry at the government. We need to fix this. Nothing more important than women and our citizens. Agreed. Mr. President, do you have any questions so far? What's our debt situation? Is at 611 billion Rand, up. Okay. This debt is due to government borrowing and interest on our previous debts. As a result, our government's budget has decreased substantially. Due to our reckless spending in the first time, I'm sorry to say that we have entered a debt crisis. According to my calculation, we won't be able to pay up our government debt without assistance of a third party. It has even disrupted fundings to our welfare plans. Some construction projects and programs need to be put on hold because of it. Oh dear. Unemployment steady at 16%. Lack of investments and economic planning. What's latest on the GDP is 111 billion Rand. That's a major decrease. Okay. 18%. That's a bit rubbish. We're suffering a decreased economic capacity. That's the question I have so far. So basically, where is it? Who are these third party that, unless it's ATA, I think that's the one we can go. Oh well, Very well. I want to quickly highlight our budget expenditure. My numbers indicate that overall we have generously spending our government budget. Money that is not spent is just pieces of paper, so that's good for us. Now going to action, and hopefully as you can see, we have now decided a way forward. One thing is clear: we need a bigger budget. We shouldn't start our next term with our budget deficit. What should we do, Mr. President? Any ideas? We take an international loan from the MFI. That used to be the MFI used to be a hardware retailer in the UK. That did. Yeah, these sell really badly put together bedroom furniture, I remember rightly. But anyway, let's look at international FMI. This will have quite a risky reputational administration, but it can be done. That's out of the way. During our first term, we faced many challenges amidst of a recession. We worked hard to fight against the odds, but it was not enough. He wiped his glasses and he swallowed before continuing. Mr. President, you may have surmised the numbers that I have given you that the economy is worsening considerably over the course of our administration. And to pay for the truth, this is no longer a mere recession. We've entered the period historians might reasonably call as the Great Social Depression. Oh dear. We have broken our promise and failed our people. My only hope is that future generations will be able to forgive us when they look back. All the blame falls on your shoulders, Simi. You will resign next term. We've done all we could, now it's time to look forward and try to fix our mistakes. Yep. A team like this, we will, I'm sure of it. No offence, but the previous Vice President doesn't exactly strike me as an economic mastermind. Things should be more smooth with me on board. We'll get through this together. This is all for me today. Thank you for coming. I hurry to the cafeteria to get a cup of coffee. Priorities and all that. Look at that. Look at that. What's on the news today? Red Youth. They're fighting again. Okay, let's start. Let's start with me pressing the right buttons on the keyboard. Request aid city. Report the city is a ghost town if the help is not sent. Okay, we're in a bit of problems. Welcomed sun into a mist in Tulsa. As welcoming General Adair's sun into their mist. Seeing Adair back in party, shocking to many citizens. Oh blimey. I think our old guard is going to join together the National Front. I think the USP is going to split, with the old guard going to the National Front to form a conservative right-wing party, and us joining with the opposition to form a liberal centre-left party. The biggest agency in Sordland as well to help with the election campaign. They will provide consultancy design work, provide material for television. Good. Hopefully that will help us. Hopefully. Together, revocation of the ban on the BFP, the subsequent amnesty about 6 other people who were arrested in the 30s and 40s. Their ties to the BFF have now been released. Okay, I can't remember doing that. I must have done it now. Design report by commercial violence. Okay. I think this is the worst we've been for a while. Gathering sits there to the break. Okay, they're happy about that. I still can't remember doing it, but must have done it at some point. Okay, buddy. BFF start campaigning. Fine, wait, okay. Mayor Lucky, Crest Financial City report the city is lacking in customers. Tons of salmon have to rot on a daily basis. Oh dear. Oh, this is not going well. So, election starts to approach. Friends react to the People's Justice Green Party making waves in Lockhaven. Victory, everyone's covered a city. The BFP has been United the PFJP has been USP and has been the United Sordland Party's major opposition since their formation. Yeah, I think we're going to see this us splitting and joining with them. He did offer us an alliance as well. I should have taken it. Okay, here we go. This is going to be fun. The makeup crew had just finished their preparations for the interview. As these things stopped me on the way out to the back of the Blue Mansion where the filming crew was standing ready to start filming. "Are you ready for your interview, sir?" Yes. Good, I've done my best to make this happen. Very important for administration. The crew's ready to start filming. Mr. Saki is excited to interview you. As I explained before, it would be bad press to decline this interview offer their most prestigious interview program in the world. And they are from Beirut. The country is known for its neutrality. I don't think there will be too much pressure. I hope so. You and your ideas, let's get this over with. I walked to the balcony, sat on the seat prepared for me directly in front of Mr. Saka. "Mr. President, welcome to One-on-One. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you. Let's begin with the latest incident between Sordland and Rumberg. An aircraft of the Swedish Air Force was shot down by Rumbergian anti-aircraft guns a few weeks ago. Officials from Rumbergian government proclaimed the aircraft were flying inside the airspace of Rumberg. Just a few days after the incident, Swedish anti-air guns shot down a Rumbergian warplane. This time your government proclaimed exactly the same, while the Rumbergian government insisted the plane was inside their airspace. Many argue this is not a coincidence. The Swedish arm acted intentionally in retaliation. Did you give such an order?" Yes, just stick with that one. They're claiming also that plane was shot down inside our border. But what about the attack from your side? Doesn't seem like an accident. They weren't asking. Why aren't you asking about the first time they started all this? Their plane breached our airspace. Our forces acted in response to that. Are you saying that when we're going officials are lying? Are you absolutely certain their plane was inside the Swedish airspace? I'm absolutely sure they breached our airspace. Yes, they lied in both instances. These are harassments against Sordland. Yeah. Do you believe these harassments could lead to an actual war between Sordland and Rumberg in the future? I hope not. We're willing to do what it takes not to create a conflict. I believe it's what Rumberg wants. They've been working to get justification for such an action. This week, both the UK and the United Kingdom governments have condemned the airplane incident. Do you think they would be involved as mediators in case of border conflict between your countries? That's not even a question. They would surely get involved. But I don't know as mediators. I hope so. We look up to the international community to maintain peace in all of Macopia. You have also earlier claimed that Rumberg has been spying on administration. You alleged spies none other than your own secretary. Rumberg has since denied all claims. He said, "My eyes waited for a response. We have all the evidence it was them. The world should know about Rumberg's interference in its neighbours." Of course they would deny it. We have all the evidence it was them. The world should know. Yep, let's say that. This is a very serious accusation, Mr. President. Well, the scandal has caught the result of Mr. Victor leaving his office. He was blamed when you appointed a new Vice President. Many claim that was just an internal political move designed to eliminate the Vice President. What do you have to say about his accusations? We recently lost Mr. Victor and I don't appreciate you asking me such a question. He was a good friend of mine. It's all nonsense. We had evidence she was working for Rumberg and her real name was Ileana Vance. I just laugh at these baseless accusations. Yeah, let's just stick to not answering the question. Do you think you were partly to blame? You're your secretary and it was going right under your nose. I don't want to repeat myself here. I've already talked about this earlier. First, I'm not responsible for processing background checks. Second, it wasn't me that employed her. All other administration states are responsible for letting such a scandal take place. I don't want to repeat myself here. I've already talked about this earlier. Yeah. He didn't look like he was satisfied by the response. He stopped for a moment and took a brief look at his papers. Okay, let's return back to your foreign policy. Let's talk about the ongoing conflict with Helgeland Island. The Icelandic Navy has been increasingly active in Macopian seas. As you know, they've been harassing Agonian ships and recently Swordland ships as well. I believe Sordland is committed to stand with Agonian. In fact, you have a military alliance with them. Do you think Vagland's actions? What do you think about Vagland's actions and their claims on the island? Yeah, Agnolia is a rightful owner of Helgeland. what they're doing is against international law. What Vagsland is doing against international law. It's very concerning. We can't have them harass other nations. Mercury BC, the seas are not theirs to claim. Yeah, it's very concerning. Yeah, let's just get stuck into them as well. Do you think hostilities between Agnolia and Vagsland could erupt into a hot war? It's definitely a possibility there for all nations. Mercury should do their best to calm the situation. Would Sordland get involved if this situation gets out of control? Yes, the Suzerain force and Suzerain Navy are ready to act if our allies need us. I hope the situation will come to that. Dodge the question. Comes to that, so no intention is intervening in other nations' conflict. It won't. It won't. Another topic. Last year, a huge conflict took place and you're close to your borders with Alan. When the Wesek forces partook in the massacre of bloody civilians under the guise of eliminating the BFF. Some decided to watch the atrocities take place. In fact, you're not only close to the borders with refugees freeing them from massacres, your border guards worked in cooperation with Wesek forces. Will you accept responsibility for thousands of lives that were lost in Welland? Of course not. We're nothing to do with that when it's happening in Welland, and we only protected our borders. I'm not breaking that. It breaks my heart to see so many people down Welland. Could we have done something? Definitely, but the conflict had nothing to do with us. Many criticise Sordland's role in the conflict. Do you accept any of the criticisms? No, there's nothing wrong with No, there's nothing wrong protecting our country. Oh, well, really? Yeah, sure. There's nothing wrong with protecting our country. You could have. On the gesture of the director, he stopped before finishing his sentence. Well, it seems like that's all the time we have today. The director shouted he could stop recording. We both stood up and shook hands. Thank you for your valuable time, Mr. President. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you for coming to Sordland. I hope to meet you again in the future. Lisa walked up to him and started talking to him. I went inside. I don't know how that went. That's blimey. Newspaper articles. Okay, let's go plough through this lot now. So, yep, so basically, Marcin, we met him earlier, is replacing Fetialek. Right, so he, okay, that's fine. Dependent on foreign help. Yeah, that probably wasn't a great decision on my part. Yesterday, the leaders of the CPS and WP came together to announce a coalition in the People's Front. The WFPB's new leader, Manson Lake, has chosen the coalition's presidential candidate. Ooh, okay. I wonder how that affects us, the CPS, the Communist Party. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, we know. Okay. Results. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. No, I shouldn't have done that at all. That was a wrong decision to do, that was. That was a wrong decision to make. Oh well. President spent the afternoon meeting local citizens, some sort of retrieval. Okay, they seem to like that. Bloodish opinion high. Came out to support the sitting president. Thanks to the president for his policies and actions in his first term. Ooh, that's interesting. So most of the bloods like us over there. Poisoned. Okay, we know about that. Now what? Read. Okay, let's read this one then. Reports due to serious condition of Elgel. Yep, so basically immune let's taken over. Fine, we know that. Right. Okay. Tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to leave this on here. I'm going to come back to it, and I've just noticed I'm actually on chapter 4, not chapter 5. For me, anyway, that's by the by. I'm going to leave this here and cover it on the next one because we've been going nearly an hour. And this could be a long conversation, so I'm going to leave it right here. Wow, this has been an interesting episode so far, you know. Yeah, with a few mistakes. I shouldn't have taken that MFI loan, because that could have been a mistake, but, you know, we're still going, we're still alive. We're not dead yet. We've had a good go at the old gold, which is good. And hopefully we'll survive and get re-elected. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.